What do you think is the toughest animal on Earth? A lion? A tiger? Maybe a blue whale? Or dinosaurs? You'd be wrong. There's a creature so tough, it can survive decades without food or water, endure crushing pressure, freezing cold, and deadly radiation, and even come back to life after exposure to outer space. But that's not all. This animal has survived on Earth for over 500 million years, long before the dinosaurs, and it has outlived 5 mass extinction events. It's called a water bear. But not that one. This one, a tardigrade, also known as the moss piglet. Tiny, resilient, and virtually indestructible. Tardigrades are microscopic animals found all over the planet, from deep oceans to mountaintops, from the soil beneath your feet to the ice of Antarctica. They typically measure between 0.1 and 1.5 millimeters in length. So small that you'd need a microscope just to notice they exist. Despite their size, tardigrades are surprisingly complex. They have muscles, a nervous system, a complete digestive tract, and 8 clawed legs that help them move through water films and moss. They don't have lungs, they don't have blood, but they do have a brain. And what they lack in size, they make up for in resilience. Tardigrades are known for one extraordinary trait: their ability to survive conditions that would destroy almost any other form of life. They've been revived after being frozen at -272 degrees Celsius, just 1 degree above absolute zero. And they've withstood temperatures up to 150 degrees Celsius, hotter than boiling water. They can survive pressures over 1,000 times greater than atmospheric pressure, far beyond what you'd find in the deepest parts of the ocean. They tolerate levels of radiation hundreds of times higher than a lethal dose for humans. And remarkably, they've even survived direct exposure to the vacuum and radiation of outer space, a feat achieved during experiments aboard low Earth orbit missions. But they don't resist these extremes by brute force. They shut down. When the environment becomes uninhabitable, tardigrades enter a state called cryptobiosis. They lose almost all the water in their bodies, curl into a desiccated capsule. And wait, in this form, there's no growth, no movement, no metabolism. They are, quite literally, in suspended animation. And when conditions improve, even decades later, they rehydrate and come back to life. So how does a creature this small survive conditions that would break almost every known biological system? The answer lies inside its cells, where tardigrades deploy a set of extraordinary biochemical strategies. One key is a unique protein called DSUP, short for damage suppressor. It binds directly to DNA, shielding it from radiation and oxidative damage, a kind of molecular armor. Tardigrades also produce large amounts of a sugar called trehalose. This sugar replaces water in their cells during desiccation, stabilizing membranes and preventing collapse. These adaptations allow the tardigrade to endure complete dehydration and return to life fully intact. Tardigrades aren't just a biological curiosity. They're a living blueprint for survival, and scientists are paying attention. In 2016, researchers inserted the DSUP gene into human cells in the lab. The result? Those cells became significantly more resistant to DNA damage from X-rays. It was the first time a tardigrade gene had ever been used to enhance human cell protection. Tardigrade proteins could one day help preserve organs for transplant, protect astronauts from cosmic radiation, or even help us engineer crops that can survive extreme drought. And their ability to enter cryptobiosis raises bold questions. Could humans one day enter a suspended state for long-duration space travel? Could we slow down aging? Or protect life from extinction-level events? We don't have the answers yet. But the fact that such resilience exists in something so small, so ancient, suggests that nature has already solved problems we're only beginning to understand. Tardigrades remind us that life doesn't always roar. Sometimes it endures in silence, without strength, without speed, without size, just persistence. They've been here for over 500 million years, surviving every mass extinction, every climate shift, every cosmic accident. And they may be here long after we're gone. In a time when life feels fragile, they offer a quiet message. That survival isn't always about dominance. Sometimes it's about adaptation, patience, and knowing when to disappear and when to return. If this fascinated you, there's more waiting. Subscribe to Qurioza for stories where science meets wonder. And as always, stay curious,